Now that we have created the way our app looks by adding controls to our window and change the properties of those controls, we're ready to start doing some coding. So before I actually code any of these buttons, and I'm going to code the equal signs because that's where I want the action to occur, I just want to refresh my memory and see what the name of these controls are. So this one here that I'm mousing over is called add 1. This other text box is called add 2. And this third text box is called answer. So those three things are what's going to be important for me when I'm coding this equal sign. This number plus this number is going to be added up and printed into this text box. So let's jump into our button, double click. Now I've already been in this button before and I've chosen action. So right now this button is being programmed for an action. If it's your first click on that button, choose action from your list and now you're ready to do some coding. So again, remember that 2 forward slashes represents a remark statement. So easy, I'm just going to type in here easy method. So I'm going to explain to you what this coding is going to do, and then I'm going to show you a couple of other methods that can achieve the same result in a much shorter, simpler way. So the first thing I want to do is establish a variable. So I'm going to dimension num1 as integer. And this is exactly the same code you've learned in the previous unit. I'm now going to tell the computer what I want this variable to equal. So I want num1 to equal the contents of the information put into the first text box. Now, information put into a text box is going to be, by default, string information. So we want to turn that string information into an integer, store it as a number that we can do math with. So what I need to do is tell the computer that I want the value of whatever is put in add1.text. So when people are using this application, they're going to type a number into that first text box. This line takes that number and converts it back into a value or an integer so I can do math with it. Now I need to do the same thing again for the second text box. So I'm going to say dim num2 as integer. So I've created a second variable, and num2 is going to equal the value of whatever information is put into the text box called add2.text. So I've now created code that will collect information from two text boxes, and that information will be then stored as an integer under values num1 and num2. So now that I have that set up, I'm going to create one more variable. Dim answer as integer. And what I'm going to do then is take the value of answer, and I want to have it equal to num1 plus num2. So answer equals variable num1 plus variable num2. And now the last step in this is to take this information, so this number, which is my sum of 1 and 2, and I'm going to print it into the text box. And if you remember, the text box that we created was called answer. Now I need to change one little thing here because I just realized I'm typing in the same number or the same name for a text box and a variable. It's not going to like that, so I'm going to change this to answer1. So answer1 equals the value of num1 plus the value of num2. Answer.text, which I've already created, is going to equal. Now here's another little conversion we need to do. I'm going to put str in front of this variable. And the reason I have to do that is because I want to print an integer now back into a text box. And the text box likes strings, so I need to take this integer and turn it back into a string value to print it into my text box. So to summarize all that, the information that's put into the first text box will be stored as num1. The information put into the second text box will be stored as num2. I'm creating another variable, answer1, and answer1 is going to equal the value of this variable plus this variable, And then in the answer text box, I'm going to print the string value of that variable. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Let's play this and see what happens. So there's my calculator. I'm going to say 12 plus 4 equals, okay. See there, I've got a mistake, and what my mistake was is I did not stop my program. I forgot to put my 1 there because this variable is now called answer1. So let's try that one more time. Okay, try it again. 12 plus 3 equals 15. Okay, seems to be working. Try it one more time. 10 plus 7 equals 17. Great. All right, so I'm going to stop right there. I'll let you try that. In the next video, I'm going to show you a couple of shortcuts that will allow you to achieve the same goal by doing significantly less code.